G'day, mate.
How are you?
Yeah. What I like about this is just that we've just walked into the studio, press record, and we haven't even caught up.
No.
We haven't had a pre-conversation.
Nothing.
It is where the hell have we been?
I don't actually have an answer for that.
Yeah, okay. Sorry.
Because you've been gallivanting all around the world.
Yeah, yep.
Doing your thing.
I'm really sorry that
don't be
I
sorry.
haven't been here for, three or 4 weeks, and I love doing this. I honestly love doing this podcast with you, so it really annoyed me because I've had to be doing other things.
Well, since we've been here,
Yeah, good. Talk about this, please, because a lot's happened.
There's been 2 AFL coaches sacked.
Brendan Bolton, Brad Scott.
Well, I don't know if Brad Scott was sacked, but he's no longer.
He's not there. He's
not there.
politely removed. And there's a couple more in the gun as well.
That's right. Liverpool have won a trophy.
Yes, and their coach, Jurgen Klopp, almost fell off the back of the bus.
He did. Yep. We have a new tennis icon.
Yes.
The
Barty Party.
I'm going to be honest. I'd never heard of her before.
Did you know that she used to play WBBL for the Brisbane Heat?
No.
Yep. Code
Really?
swapper. Yes.
Absolutely amazing.
Yep.
Good on her. Yeah, I hadn't heard of her until the semis.
Everyone at the Golden State Warriors is injured.
Toronto beat their D-grade team.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll
get to that.
It was disappointing, I thought. Virat Kohli turned into a good fella.
Yeah. Rashid Khan in 9 overs. Did you see that?
He went for over 100.
Over 100. Oh, my God. He's an Adelaide boy as well. Well, he's not. I mean, he's an Afghani boy, but he plays for the Strikers.
Yeah. He's normally their go-to at the death as well.
He's unbelievable.
Yeah.
He's the best T20 bowler in the world.
We just mark that down to a bad day.
It's a pretty bad day.
It's a shocker. Yeah, you've travelled the world and emceed 79 sporting events.
Yeah, I've been pretty busy.
And I've eaten about 50 triple cheeseburgers.
But you look good.
I feel good.
You look great. You feel awesome, trust
I've
me.
grown this vagina on my face as well.
Hey, same. How's our beard life?
I like it.
So you've gone past your itchy stage?
Just the last
Same.
couple of days.
Yeah. And I'm now trimming instead of shaving.
Right. Yeah, I did some neck stuff this morning.
Yeah. So question, because I don't have haircuts, I shave other parts of my body just to feel like I have a haircut. Do you do the same?
That's why I've grown this. I need some sort of hair on my head.
All right, we'll get into the first quarter in a second. I wanted to quickly have a bit of a rant. Is that okay?
Go for it.
I want to rant about the China game because where I was, for the people that weren't aware, I was lucky enough to go to Shanghai with the Port Adelaide Football Club. I went to Darwin the week after with the Adelaide Thunderbirds, both amazing events. The China trip was brilliant. It's the second time I've been over there, and it was fantastic. I experienced China a little bit differently this time. Last year, in my downtime, I went to fake markets and bought these shoes that I'm wearing right now. They look like real Yeezys.
Yep.
They're $30.
Right. Yeah.
They've lasted a year.
I saw them when I walked in and I thought, geez, he's on a good wicket.
Well, that's it. And people say, are they real? And I go, do they look real? They say, yep. And then I walk away.
That's right.
So I don't do anything else. So I was acclimatizing myself last year. This year I did it differently. So I'll take you through the week really quickly. On the Monday, the Tuesday night, sorry, we flew to Melbourne with the team.
Right.
We went Melbourne, Singapore, Shanghai,
Okay.
which is stupid because you go basically to Melbourne to fly back over Adelaide to go to Shanghai. We did that. We arrived on the Wednesday afternoon at about 2:00. We had that night to go and walk around and kind of get familiar with things.
Yep.
And
the game was Sunday?
The game was on the Sunday, yeah. So after knowing what I did last year, I pretended I knew where the Nike store was, and I ended up walking 14K when I should have walked 2K to get there. But it was great just to walk around and to know that, like a little bit of, I'm going to say muscle memory, which is not muscle, but you know what I mean. Like you get your bearings.
Yep.
So the Thursday, there was an official press conference with all the head honchos of the AFL there, and Matt Finnis, the CEO of St Kilda, Keith Thomas, CEO of Port Adelaide, they had all press conference, and they basically, the tourism ministers there, they welcome everybody to the game. On the Friday night, there was an event at the Camel, which is a pub, like an Aussie pub. So Fox Footy was on there in Shanghai, and then
Awesome.
Nick Revolt was there, interviewed him, and all the Port and St Kilda supporters go there. You have a bit of a piss up. Great night, really good night.
So it's a familiar feel.
Very familiar.
Yeah.
The Saturday night, you go down to a place called the Bund, which is where all the lights are in Shanghai. Port Adelaide supporters going, "We are Port Adelaide," and all of these Chinese people going, "Oh my god!" And the weird thing was, it's the 30th anniversary of Tiananmen Square, so there's cops everywhere.
Right.
So you know what happened in Tiananmen Square?
No.
Okay, so long story short, it's horrific. It's student protesting,
Yep.
and the Chinese government have said, you know what? Let's get rid of them. Let's shoot them, and let's mow them down in tanks until they're pulp, so we can just light them up.
That's morbid.
Horrible. So you've got these people in China going, "We are Port Adelaide, we are," and people go, "Don't hang around in groups, don't do that, don't film anything."
no.
On the Saturday, it was a pretty low key day. The Sunday was the game.
Yep.
So there's how it all works. The
Sure.
players have the amazing facilities. There's an incredible UFC
I
facility
saw
there.
a few of the boys were there.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
St Kilda went over there and prepared like shit. We were told that their strength and conditioning team the day before the game put them in a sauna for an hour and a half to try and get used to the climate. Maybe that will dehydrate you a little bit for a game of footy.
Let's stick some water into them or something.
Yeah. So there's gives you an idea of what happens. The players, everything's normal for them. Training, food is all Western.
Yep.
Everything's perfect.
Yep.
When you get to the game, throughout the game, I looked on social media and I knew that people were going to give the crowd shit and
Yep.
give the game shit.
Yep.
Pardon my language, but it really frustrated me because I was at the game. Yes, there were 10,000 people there.
Yep.
But for me, two things. Lots of people in corporate facilities, so not everyone was in their seat.
Yep.
10,000 is still the number. It's more than just the game of footy. St Kilda got 5 different sponsors for them
Yep.
out of this trip.
Yep.
China, they're and Port Adelaide, they've come together to do more partnerships for long term. The game of footy is almost the afterthought. Yes, it's important that you get the 4 points. St Kilda and Port are teams that can afford to do it, though. The Crows don't need to do it. Carlton don't need to do it. Collingwood don't need to do it. But Port and St Kilda can try it. If you get tourism in there, if you get 1% of the Chinese population, bingo, tick. So, yes, I get that people look on TV at that one perspective at the worst part of the venue and they go, no one's here. Whatevs. There were 7,000 people at Townsville over the weekend for St Kilda Gold Coast. I think there were 9,000 in Hobart for St Kilda and North Melbourne GWS, sorry. So what's the difference? We're taking it into a different part of the world or a part of Australia to try something. The worst thing that can happen is it doesn't work. Now, I will concede this. It didn't work for St Kilda on game day because they didn't get 4 points out of it.
No.
If Port lose the game and they miss finals, or as you saw against Freo, their last quarter was crap.
Yeah.
If China contributed to that, then there's a part of me that goes, oh,
course.
you need the 4 points.
It's not just like flying over to WA.
No.
You're not going over to Perth for
No.
2 or 3 nights.
No,
Like,
it's 7. It's about like 7 hours and 7 hours.
Yeah.
So it's a big trip.
significant. Yeah.
Yeah.
My whole thing was I felt like St Kilda got sold a bum deal. In that it was their home game, yet the Port home game traditions went ahead with the never.
Port got St Kilda got cash for it though. St Kilda got a shitload of cash for Port to run their game day activation.
They lost their captain. They lost 3 players before the game, and their coach was crook.
Mate, I sat next to Jaron Geary at the press conference. The scar up his leg, his leg looks like a Sharon.
Oh.
And then for him to go down like that, the surface was pretty tough.
Was it?
Yeah.
Also, the thing that made me chuckle wasn't there meant to be someone went to the wrong ground or
400 people. Yeah, 400 people at a corporate function, and it's not like
it's not Melbourne. There's not multiple games.
no,
going
that's
on.
it, and it's not like Marvel and the MCG where it's 5 minutes away.
No.
It's a decent journey. So look, there's my rant to start. It's like a pre-game rant.
Yep.
Just
it's fired you up.
to go over there and experience it. You ask every person that was at the game, they loved it.
Yep.
Go over there. People just find reasons to be angry at shit. Anyway, can you blow the siren for the first quarter? It's been too long. Good siren. What's going on, Matty? We're back. What are we talking about in the first quarter?
Behaviour, crowd behaviour.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a hot topic. Very hot topic at the moment, and obviously Gillan McLaughlin's come out and apologised, and I don't buy any of that for a second. He'd be across everything that's going on with all the grounds and the security.
Well, the AFL own Marvel Stadium, so I'm pretty sure they're across what's going on.
I would have thought so. Yeah. Did you see the vision of the guards walking up and down the aisles?
Yeah, and the security guard that tried to stop the dust up on the field.
It's not a nightclub, mate.
No. Oh. So what do you think of it? What's your opinion on AFL crowds?
My opinion is I feel like the AFL as a body are losing touch with the crowds, and it's creating a bit of a divide.
Yeah. Do you get involved at the footy?
Not... yes, but not in a towards other people in the crowd, and I certainly don't get abusive.
What's the worst thing you've said at the footy?
It wouldn't even be that bad. I don't get personal.
Yeah.
I get smart ass, for lack of a better word.
Yeah. Have you ever tried? This is a bit of a side note. Have you ever tried aggressive complimenting? So find someone that you don't like, right?
Right.
So say you don't like Xavier Dersma's celebration at the end.
Loved it, but yeah.
And try and say it aggressively. So go, "Oi, Dersma, you've got a good celebration. I like it." Because it sounds like you're giving him shit.
But you're not. You're praising him.
Yeah, I think it takes a certain type of person to be a heckler.
Yeah, it does.
You've got a personality type where I couldn't heckle. I couldn't be mean to other people like that.
Yeah.
I'm the same as you. I can have a crack, but not personally. But I reckon you're a different setup if you really get personal with that stuff.
And, like I've done the old people are leaving at 3/4 time and you ask them, is there a fire drill going on that you haven't
that's
heard
clever. That's banter.
That sort of stuff, yeah. So I'll get involved in that. I'm not going to sit here and knock a certain group, but, I mean, I went to the Richmond Crows game on Thursday night, and I'll tell you what, if there was a guard or police in the area that I was in, there would be a lot of people not sitting in the ground for the rest of the game.
Some of the stuff's hideous. I put the parent filter on it now. So because I've got a daughter, I've sat in the crowd a couple of times at Adelaide Oval at Crows games, behind the goals, scoreboard end. It's disgusting.
Up on the hill there.
It's disgusting. I refuse to take my kid around there because some of the language and the violence, I don't feel safe as a 35-year-old man.
That's exactly where we were standing.
It's horrible,
behind
mate.
the goals. Terrible. And this goes back, and I'll tell you a story, and this is as true as I sit here. I obviously publicise I'm a Collingwood supporter, and we cop a bit of a bad rap, but I
mean, it's just because your players gamble on their own games, so that's fine.
Derailed our season already. Anyway, I remember going to a game at Footy Park when it was Footy Park back in the day. I was with Mum and Dad, and I would have been 5.
Yep.
And Collingwood kicked a goal, and I clapped. And this guy turned around, and he goes, "Why don't you off back to in Victoria, you little..."
Yeah, right.
I was 5 years old.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's a different... I think they are different. They're differently wired, the people who feel that they can do that, because that is the same as you going into Coles and abusing the checkout person for not scanning your bloody vine-ripened tomatoes quick enough.
Yep.
My mate used to take the vines off vine-ripened tomatoes because they were cheaper, so they'd scan them through differently. He was such a tight ass.
But there's a fine line between cheering and supporting passionately and just being a downright dickhead.
Mate, you are spot on, and I think the downright dickhead part, there are too many of them. And I think that's where they've probably overcorrected, because they're trying to get rid of the downright dickheads, but they've gone too far.
Yeah.
And it's almost like it's almost offensive to the non-dickheads to go, wait, you don't need to look after me, mate.
Yeah.
I'm totally fine.
That's right.
And the worst part is when you see people abusing, and they've got their own kids next to them. You go, mate, be a parent and just be respectful for a bit.
Lead by example.
I know it shows passion and how important sport is to people and stuff like that, but yeah, it's a bit of a pain in the ass, isn't it?
It is. I feel like the crackdown on the umpire one is quite over the top, though.
Yeah, I also just realised that my rant at the start was the first quarter, and I just pretended it wasn't. It's been too long, hey? Far out. Let's have some oranges at halftime. We've got an idea, actually. Let's blow this on. All right, welcome back. This is Best Team Man. It's been a while. How do you follow us on the socials?
At Best Team Man on Twitter and also Facebook.
Oh, what about those photos I sent you of us at nightclubs?
I found a couple other ones as well.
Really?
Yeah.
So we're going to start sharing
We'll get those
them.
up. Yep, definitely.
Yeah, so I was going through photos. I was trying to back up my phone, and geez, it takes forever to do, and found some photos. And we've been briefly talking about this, and I really think we should action this. So a couple of things we've brought, because normally at halftime, we tell a nightclub story because we know each other 3 nightclub days. We had the best time. Like, it was back when 90s nights happened and they were everywhere. They were fun. It was brilliant. And I think that you are obviously far beyond 90s nights now because you're a well-established DJ around Australia, not just in Adelaide. But I think we should put on a night.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of reasons why. First of all, I think it would be fun for us to do.
Yep.
We could do a 90s night or a retro night.
Yeah.
That would be awesome because there's an opportunity for us to go, hey, let's get back some people who used to go to these clubs when we were working there, but also some new people that go, hey, this could be a bit of fun.
That's right.
Do we look at gold coin donation or something to raise money?
Yeah, we can definitely look at that. There's all sorts of possibilities.
There's heaps. So we need to think about a venue.
Yep.
We need to think about a particular night, and we need to gauge some interest on the socials whether people will come, because I think it could be fun.
I think it'd be good fun. I'm happy. I'm all for it.
Yeah. And we've got to find out what we'd wear, because we have to try and wear something that we wore when we used to do it together.
Well, you just used to wear an NBA jersey single week.
I did. And
Different
I still
person.
can. Yep,
Yeah.
I still can.
And I'm probably still wearing the same T-shirt I wore.
We have to do exactly
years ago.
what we did. So that was, you tell me how many dim sims you ate.
Before a game.
Yep.
Yeah.
We would check the
generally
footy
6.
score all night.
Yep.
And we would just take the piss out of the promo staff.
Yes. And hopefully they can bring cookies.
Yes. All right. So that's
I just bring up. Yeah. I know we didn't schedule a nightclub story, but while we're talking about promo staff, I won't mention his name.
Yeah.
It starts with M, rhymes with itch. Remember he used.
Are you talking about Nikola Miliusnic from Adelaide United?
This bloke, he used to come to us every single Friday night without fail. And what did he say?
Was he the guy who asked for money?
Well, at first it started as drink cards.
Yeah,
he always
asked
wanted
for
drink.
cash.
He wanted drink cards, and we didn't have any. So for the first month, he'd be like, "Oh, have you got any drink cards for me?"
That's right.
Mate, we don't. We've only got drink cards to give away to the punters. And then he came up to us one day and he goes, "Have you got $10 for
That's
them?"
right.
I was like, "What's going on?"
Some
here?
of them probably ended up in jail.
Yeah.
Yeah, or did. Okay, so we're going to work on that. So when we come back next week, we are going to have a venue.
Yes, we'll have that.
We're going to find the venue, and then we will work from there. We've got to find a night, like what we're going to call the night.
Yep.
But I reckon we need at least a month of promoting
promo
and stuff.
Yep, absolutely.
Definitely.
Yep.
And we'll get some people on. Like, I reckon there's a chance that could we look at getting someone else that we used to DJ with? Guest DJ. Do we get Jackie J on the phone?
Jackie J.
Do we get Captain Kirk back?
All those.
Do we get Jazz, who's working at Rex Airlines at the moment at the airport? Saw him.
He's good for a lounge access.
Loves it.
Yeah.
All right. So let's focus on that and get into the third quarter.
Done.
Matty, it's third quarter here on Best Team Men. You can follow us on the socials as well. This is a pretty serious one because over the past 7 days, we've had 2 AFL players taking a leave of absence. The first one was Lin Jong from the Western Bulldogs, and the second one, which rocked me, Matthew Broadbent from Port Adelaide.
Yeah.
I was talking to him when we landed in Shanghai, having a great chat about footy.
Yep.
Like, I'm happy to bring you up to speed on this. I was talking to him because he's obviously coming back from injury.
Yeah.
And he had a horrific injury in his leg. And I was saying to him, mate, you're back playing footy now, which is great. Have you thought about what happens at the end of your career? Like, he was playing at Woodville West Torrens before Port Adelaide. Mm-hmm. And I said, are you going to focus on that? Like, say, Jimmy Toumpas, for example, was delisted from Port. He's back at the Eagles now. And he said, I don't know. He said, but talking to Jimmy Toumpas and some other players have kind of regained their love for footy because you kind of take away the business and you focus on the sport.
That's right.
And then, bang, gets back and he's taken a leave of absence due to mental health. A, it indicates nobody knows what is going on behind the scenes in people's lives. And B, this is everywhere.
Or C,
everywhere.
C, your conversation with him has absolutely rocked him.
Or exactly. It's like, I never want to speak to this bloke again. Well, I mean,
no,
shit.
I've had a bit of a think about this as well, and I feel like, and you could completely disagree with me, and this could be a really naive look at it, but I feel like the media has a massive role to play in this as well. And I'm using the Jaden Stevenson betting thing at the moment as an example. Before any of the information has come out, Tom Brown has absolutely hung him by trial, media.
Yep.
And, has been throwing suspensions around and fines and what it should be and this sort of stuff, when he doesn't know any of the finer details. The integrity unit haven't even done their investigation. him doing that puts it into downright dickheads that go to the footy, into their, brain, and he's going to cop it now. Even when he comes back, he's just going to cop a barrage of abuse, and some will call it banter, but I feel like the media have a massive role to play with these people.
I think the media has no accountability. Zero. If you see, I'll use an example of Taylor Walker having a crack at Damien Barrett after Damien Barrett had a crack at Taylor Walker. So long story short, Damien Barrett went on Triple M, and he said that from the people who watched the Crows game said this about it. Taylor Walker the next day said, well, watch the game, Damien. Damien got really defensive. These guys who are big-time journos that obviously have built up the credibility to get where they are.
Yeah.
But they do, and via social media now, throw stuff out there. They just throw it out there, and the worst thing that can happen to them is they're wrong. But never do you see them go, hey, I got that one wrong, or hey, I apologise. And they would have a news director as their boss saying to them, do what needs to be done to get a story. There's a journalist in Adelaide who is known for climbing fences and knocking on people's doors to get a story. It's like they forget how to be human beings sometimes.
Yep.
Nobody is perfect. I get that. But I think you're right. The continual harassment of players and the scrutiny is tough. On the flip side, people go, well, you've chosen that line of work to do that. I don't think it's an excuse. Like, I'll look at if I do an event, and it's the same as you probably, we spoke about this. If someone writes one bad comment, you get fixated on it. Mate, I suffer from the most extreme anxiety, and my father is bipolar. Like, it's a fucking horrible thing to go through. And now more than ever, these players cop it. And it's a real shame to see. I don't know Lin Jong. I don't know Paddy McCartan. I don't know Tom Boyd. I know Matty Broadbent well enough to go, that guy doesn't deserve to go through what he's going through.
And it might not be sport or footy related at all either.
It might not be, but that brings the other thing into question. Like, do you go, well, what are these players going through? And it's none of our business, but it's like, it's the same with anybody in the public eye. We're connected to them. We know them through their job and their profile, and we feel obliged to say, wow, are you okay? Like, it's just...
Do you remember Jonathan Hay?
Yeah, he was stalked.
Yeah, well, I remember seeing a story with him. He obviously was an All-Australian at Hawthorn.
Yeah.
And then he went to North Melbourne and he stunk it up.
Yeah.
No one could understand why. I reckon he was the first to come out and really publicly say that he had mental health problems. And I remember seeing an interview with him, and he was saying he'd get home from training and the simplest of task of unpacking his footy bag was just too much for him. Couldn't do it.
Why don't we talk about it? Is it the macho thing of being a bloke that you don't talk about it? Or is it one of those things?
You know what it is? I think it's just more prevalent now that when someone does come out, people are going, oh, it's a cop-out.
Yep. Yeah. Do we need... It's the same as like a homosexual player in the AFL. I'm certain there's one.
Yep.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
Do we need someone to come out and say it's okay to do it for others to do it?
We shouldn't need that.
That's exactly right. We shouldn't. Like, but you and I are quite understanding human beings to go, I don't give a shit what your life choices are. Like, do what you need to do that makes you happy, unless it's like,
and it's no different
killing people.
Please don't kill people.
Yeah.
How's that any different to Basher Hooley's religion?
That's exactly right.
Everyone's accepted that.
Yeah, it's a mess, man. It's an absolute mess, and it's probably the most serious.
It's a reflection on society, though.
Yeah, it is, and that is what AFL is.
Yep.
We all look at AFL and go, oh, in any sport, these guys should be all the same and stuff. No, everybody's different. Like, mate, look at Chris Yarran, who's now in jail. But Andrew Cracker, who you hear him speak now,
brilliant,
unbelievable that he spent time in prison.
Yeah,
and he speaks so eloquently about everything, and you go, holy shit.
That Chris Yarran stuff staggers me. Like, this is a guy that was in the AFL system for 10 years.
Yeah.
Maybe not, maybe 7 or 8. He's a criminal. Now,
yeah, no, it rattles you because you think, you see him and you're like,
he
Hollywood.
Should be a professional person.
That's exactly right. Yeah. I know. Blow the siren, too serious. Okay, so, you watched the playoffs? We spoke about it at the start.
We did touch on it.
I was on a plane, obviously, because that's all I've been doing lately.
Yeah. Your frequent flyer points would be through the roof.
I don't know. I don't put my number in. No. Landed in Melbourne and jumped onto KO.
Yep.
And in the aisle of the plane. I'm watching the final couple of minutes
Game 6
of Game 6.
Right.
3 other blokes around me watching it, and it was fascinating to watch. I'm really glad Toronto won. I think there is an asterisk next to the win.
I think so.
Mainly because
of Drake.
Well, I like Drake.
Flog.
No, let's get to Drake. No, let's talk Drake now. Why is he a flog?
I didn't agree with his interactions with the players while the game is on.
No, I get that. But he's like Spike Lee for the Knicks, Jack Nicholson for the Lakers.
Yeah,
like,
they're not up there
like
rubbing the coach's shoulders, though.
No, I don't know. I kind of like it because he's a big fan.
It's a character. I get it.
Yeah,
but at the same
his
time,
press conference afterwards, like he played and he scored 40 points, was probably
that was too much,
a bit rough.
But just the way he was, talking to Draymond Green and Steph Curry as they're walking off for a timeout.
Yeah.
Halfway through the third quarter.
Yeah,
I don't think that interaction should have been there. But
well, the injuries were shit. So they lose Durant, who was rumored to have an Achilles, but it came out it was a calf. But then he actually did his Achilles, so he was out.
Yep.
Then Klay Thompson does his knee, comes back on the court, takes 2 free throws, and then he leaves. So the asterisks, I mean, if it was anybody else, but if you take away...
I sort of thought without KD, they could have still won with Klay because they had won a championship with Steph and Klay and Draymond and stuff like that.
Yeah, but you take away Klay for that last quarter. So say you take away 10 points, you take away Durant for 30 and you're losing 40 points or whatever.
That's massive.
And also defensively, then Toronto, it's easier for them to line up. And you saw that when they did their switches. However, not taking anything away from them because they did win 4 games or 3 games when Thompson was playing.
That's right.
It was fascinating to watch. Kawhi Leonard is amazing to do that in New Balance as well. Like he wears New Balance, which is amazing. And New Balance are frothing at the moment because Liverpool wins Champions League.
Yeah.
The Kawhi Leonard gets MVP, and the other thing was Father's Day was in America. So they're all going to be doing
a good month, haven't they?
Yeah, it's a shame when you see injuries happen in sport because I think injuries sometimes define a series. Like you look at Richmond at the start of the year, they lose Alex Rance with his knee in round 1.
Yep.
Jack Revolt they lose as well. Richmond season, they'll come back, but Richmond have a bit of trouble at the moment.
That's right.
When injuries really define a season, it just shows how important these opportunities are, how premierships and championships are so hard to get there and to win. Makes it interesting for the team, though. I'm actually going to put a Golden State would you rather in. Can we do that now?
Let's do it now.
All right, we'll blow the siren, mate. Far out. You have one job. All right, here we go. Would you rather? I'm going to start this off. You don't know this one.
No.
And it's a bit of a different would you rather. It's a what would you do.
Okay.
You are the Golden State Warriors.
Yes.
You have Kevin Durant.
Yep.
He's out for 12 months.
Yep.
Klay Thompson is out for 12 months.
Yep.
Both of them are free agents.
Yep.
What do you do?
Well, you're stuck with them.
No, you're not.
Well, in a way you are.
You're not.
You don't reckon?
I'm asking you.
No, well...
You do. You do. So
No, when I say that, I mean no other team's going to take them off your hands.
Aren't they?
I don't think so. Not with 12 months injuries.
Okay.
I think you suck it up. You take a run-of-the-mill season.
I need to let you know, though, they are owed max deals.
Yeah.
Max. So you're paying them max. If you're the Warriors, you are paying them both max contracts.
Yeah. Well, I think Bogut's gone.
Yep. Cousins
gone.
Yep.
Iguodala's probably going to retire in the next 1 or 2. Mm-hmm. I think you hold on to them and you rehab them and you have a mediocre year.
Right.
And then you come back and you have another crack.
Yeah. So I don't have the right answer. I was listening to a lot of this after the game because the talk is Durant's going to leave and go to New York or Brooklyn before that injury.
Yep.
The talk was that Thompson's going to stay.
Yep.
So what they're left with now is a new venue.
Yep.
Because they're leaving Oracle. They're going to
done.
San Francisco. Oracle is done. So they start next year with Curry.
Yep.
Iguodala.
Yep. Draymond.
I think that's about it, mate.
Livingston.
So, Livingston and Looney.
Yeah.
So, what do you do? And some teams will take the punt and sign KD knowing he's not going to play because I'll get him the years after because he's owed max money. Or he could walk. The other option is you sign them both and you trade Draymond. Because you need players to play next year. So if you trade Draymond Green and get 2 players in that can start for you, it gives you a little bit more depth.
Yeah.
It's tough.
He's a bit of a liability too, Draymond.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
If they in a perfect world,
He's
if
a
I
hot
was
head.
the Warriors, I would trade Draymond.
Yeah.
but he's going to get paid next year.
Yeah.
So they're in a big mess. But now it opens up the West for the Lakers with Davis there. I saw this morning that Chris Paul and Harden aren't getting along at Houston. So the West is there.
Yeah, definitely.
It's crazy.
You're in your element with that, aren't you? You're going to love this offseason.
Such a boner, mate. You can see it. All right.
Absolutely.
Give me a would you rather.
Okay. Would you rather, and this is, again, a basketball one for you.
Yeah.
Would you rather more players come into the NBL, like the
LaMelo Ball. Yep.
situation, and they come and they use it for their own development and then they piss off?
Yep.
Or would you rather develop our own talent?
Yeah, I've got mixed emotions about this. LaMelo Ball is going to be a good player.
Yep.
Like, he's a good player now. For me, I'm protective of the league.
Yeah.
I would want people to be good locker room players. I always think you want people to have a good culture. If they had the option of getting, because I think Aaron Brooks is also going to, and he's played about 600 NBA games, going to Illawarra.
Yep.
The other option was getting Nick Young, Swaggy P.
Sounds like
If Swaggy P went to the NBL, I'd be against it because I want someone that's going to bring the team together, not be about themselves, not be here for a holiday. A lot of people approach Australian leagues like they come over for a holiday. Ken also came to Adelaide, thought he was on holiday.
Yeah, that's the one.
So I like the pathway program because it gives them an opportunity to get paid, because you don't get paid legally in college. And also it puts the spotlight on the NBL. This is the best thing ever. It's everyone's going to be watching. Like Obama followed the Hawks yesterday on Twitter.
Yeah, that's the bonus.
That is the big bonus, and he has to play. So he has to play well, and he has to play.
Yep.
It's going to be fascinating to see how that all happens. I think, they're going to get lots of people to watch him because if his talent's right, but then he's playing against men. They're going to go after him.
That's right, 100% they are.
Yeah. And I don't think he's ever been to Illawarra. I don't even know where Illawarra is, mate. It's like near Wollongong.
St. George, Illawarra?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You saw him yesterday. They asked him what is appealing about the league in Illawarra. His answer was, they've got good strength and conditioning coaches and they've had some professionals go through there.
Yeah.
Good. You know that where you living though, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. But it's good. People are talking about the NBL as well. Would you rather be Carlton or Hawthorn right now?
Carlton.
Wayne Carey said this on the weekend. He said that Carlton are closer to a flag than Hawthorn.
I think they are. You look at their core group of young players.
Yep.
Cripps, Curnow turned it on the weekend, kicked 7.
Yeah, he's good. Walsh.
Zach Fisher, Walsh. I just feel
Petrevsky Seaton.
Yeah, but wasn't that the guy that read the stocks on Compaq? Petrevsky?
No, that's Tom Petrevsky Seaton. Yeah.
I just think I think Carlton have a lot more to work with.
Yeah.
I feel like obviously Roughhead's on the way out. Especially when you got a captain that breaks all the rules like that. With
Wingard hasn't worked.
Wingard has not worked.
How much does pinching hurt?
Stratton's pinching blokes and stomping on their feet.
Yeah, that hurts.
That was pretty ordinary, I thought. I'd much rather Carlton, and especially when Sauce buggers off at the end of the year, I think they can get their off-field stuff in order. I think Juddy's a good operator.
Yeah, okay. I look a bit like Juddy, I reckon.
You do.
Because we're bald. Yep, next.
Would you rather never have another World Cup in England? There's more rain delays than there is play.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, the crowd for the India-Pakistan was ridiculous. They had that over in Adelaide as well a couple of years ago.
I could not get a cab to save my life.
Or Uber Eats. Yeah. Mate, no, you can't say that, mate. Okay. Would you rather, all right, be on a full-time wage and get less pay, or be on a contract if you were an athlete? So say Brendan Bolton at Carlton was on a full-time wage.
Yep.
But it's less risk compared to being on a contract.
Depends how substantial the difference is. If you're going from a playing point of view, like you look at Bogut, for instance, he went on a X amount of day contract. He wasn't on a full-time deal or anything like that. So I think for safety reasons, you'd go full-time all day, every day.
Yep. Good.
Contract, it can be a bit messy. But I guess if it doesn't work out, you get paid out.
That's exactly right.
Don't you?
That is exactly right.
Don't you? Would you rather... again, this is probably a bit of a variant. This is
totally
do you think Buddy Franklin will finish his career in Sydney?
I don't know if I've told you this before. I've got a really weird memory. Like, I remember where I was.
Yes, we have spoken about
when
this.
I had to get my ex-girlfriend's dad's birthday present. I was in the car park at Westlake Shopping Centre.
Right.
When I heard that Buddy Franklin had signed a 9-year deal with the Sydney Swans.
Yeah.
Same sort of area when I remembered about the ex-girlfriend's dad's.
Right. Going shopping.
No.
I don't think so.
No. I think that... Because he had, what, 3 years left or something? 3 or 4?
4.
Yeah, I reckon he'll go into 1 year back in Victoria somewhere.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, this is me buying into media talk again. Cyril is very young, and he's been talking to Chris Fagan.
Right. That'd be a good move for both parties.
Yeah.
Imagine Cyril and Charlie Dixon in the same forward line.
Well, Charlie Dixon plays for Port Adelaide. Breaking news: Cyril Rioli is going to Port Adelaide
to play with
Charlie Dixon
Cameron.
is going to Brisbane. Mate, this has been good. It's been great to see you.
We've just blown the cobwebs out.
That's exactly right. Next week, we'll talk more about the venue of our nightclub. Hit us up on the socials. We'll do a giveaway. Heaps of feedback about the Then I Kissed. Oh, how's my father-in-law, mate? Fuck me.
Yeah, so hang on. Where did that end up? Which games did he end up seeing?
He only went to the Milwaukee game, but every score from... I'll show you this. Every game in the finals, he sent me the box score.
Was he the one where that the Leonard shot?
No.
Okay.
Every game, he sends me a box score, and I had to write to him, I am aware of the score. Like he sends it to me like I'm not watching it.
Is he being a smartass, or is he just genuinely trying to keep you...
You know what he's doing? He's saying they are my team. Right. I've been on the Raptors since day one. No, you haven't, mate. You've been on the Raptors since the Eastern Conference Finals. Like, see you, Matty. I'm very angry today.
Oh, no. Let's go for a run.
All right, a rub.
And a run.
Done.